I think that you have a very special treat with this incredible leader from Bhutan. And it is not what I think many expect it to be. We've already become, I think, good friends backstage for unexpected but good reason. His mother and mine both encouraged us. And while his mother worked on a road that connected his country with India, he went to become an engineer at the University of Pittsburgh and then went on to Harvard, to the Kennedy School, to perfect his leadership in public policy. And now it's come full circle back to and for his country. His story, His Excellency's story, and the story of Bhutan is a signal for the world. Why? In and after the civil rights movement in the United States, Mr. Prime Minister, we talked about backstage, we had a situation where there were states and cities that were larger than ours, more economically prosperous than Atlanta, where I live, and they should have won. They should have won economically, politically, socially, with regard to society, their position in society. But they were locked in struggle. They had an old business plan. They refused to change. They refused to evolve. They refused to find a way to work together. They thought that capitalism had to be brutal. The result of that is, and by the way, one city, literally named after a city in England for Industrial Revolution, should have been where the airport was positioned. Today, Atlanta is the busiest airport in the world. Today is the 10th largest economy in the United States. A city too busy to hate. We found another way. And that economy is now bigger than all the states that surround it. The city economy is bigger than all the states around it. As I think about, Your Excellencies, I think about your opportunity. I think you're a little ahead of your time. And I want to challenge you on this, and I want to ask you what you think about this. Wellness is now a new normal priority for most people. Most leaders here are successful, but without good health, what good is it? And I think that as a market opportunity.
Thank you, John. First, I'm delighted to be here. I want to thank the government of the UAE for allowing us to take part in the World Government Summit. It's a very important summit, and more so because of the issues you discuss. And I'm delighted to be with John here on this panel on what is it that governments should focus on. Indeed, what is it that governments should be optimizing? Before we get to wellness, let me, after meeting John, who's a serial entrepreneur who does good, he is obsessed with doing good, and absolutely delightful to meet John. And even while we were speaking, I did some research. And you know, the world, look at our resources. And if you want to see how governments had functioned, look at how resources are now allocated, because that is a function of what governments optimize. 0.1% of the global population control 14% of the global resources. 1% of the global population control 37% of global resources. And 10% of the global population, they control 75% of global resources, just 10% of the global population, against 75% of global resources. Half the world's population control just 2% of the global resources, just 2%. And how much is half the world's population? That's 4 billion people control just 2% of the global resources. On the other hand, 0.0001% of the global population control 2% of global resources. So on the one hand, 0.0001% of the world's population, that's 60,000 people, just 60,000 people, control the same amount of resources as half the world's population. The divide between the rich and the poor, the rich countries and the poor countries, and within countries has been growing. So we have to conclude that the world's governments have been optimized for just that, to reward a small fraction of our individual populations in our own countries. We are fortunate in Bhutan. You talked about well-being. In Bhutan, our kings, our enlightened monarchs have always said that if the government cannot create happiness for its people, the government should not exist. And it is our kings who have given us the development philosophy of gross national happiness. Our kings have said that economic growth is important,
Yes.
but it is not the only thing that's important. It's economic growth and social progress,
Yes.
and cultural preservation, and environmental conservation, and good governance.
Yes.
And as a result, we have thrived as a small country. As a resource-wise, we are a poor country, but because we have free access to education and healthcare, and our culture is vibrant, and our environment, we are the only one of the few carbon-negative countries. We are a biodiversity hotspot. We are a vibrant democracy.
Yes.
And all of this is a result of gross national happiness, which we believe promotes the well-being and happiness of our people.
You rank right up there with Norway with regard to happiness as a context for others understanding what you've achieved there. And of course, they are one of the best performing in the world economically.
Well, it depends how you define happiness.
Yes.
Norway's happiness is quite different from our happiness.
Of course.
We have to remember that we are from the global south. We are one of the poorest countries in the world.
Yes.
Norway is one of the richest countries in the world.
Yes.
And the type of happiness we measure is different. In our case, we take measurements very seriously. It's very technical. Yeah. We don't measure happiness per se, we measure gross national happiness.
Yes.
And we want to see where we are as a society, as a government, in terms of gross national happiness. And that measurement is very serious business. We look at living standard, health, education, environment, governance, but we also look at community,
Yes.
culture,
Yes.
psychological well-being,
Yes.
time use at a national level, and this is how we measure gross national happiness.
What I want the audience to hear, and now you're pivoting to that, is it's not just, to me, one of the great achievements you have is you've maintained your spiritual base, your humanity. At the same time, you're raising standards of living. At the same time, you're environmentally responsible. At the same time, you're, I think, raising the vibration, if you will, the frequency for your people and your surrounding environments. These things are not mutually exclusive. They can be done at the same time. What I want this audience to understand is these are potentially investors and partners. People watching are investors and partners. Is that what I understand from talking to you and looking at the data and seeing that you're already leading in financial literacy. You're already leading in environmental neutrality with regard to the negatives, stopping the negatives and promoting the positives. That you have an untapped potential for GDP growth on top of a happiness growth index based on, we're talking in the back about just wellness as an industry. That is something that I think is going to become a huge, huge multi-billion-dollar sector, and you could, just in your region, and you could literally base that in Bhutan. And I think that there have artificial intelligence, technology, really empowering. You and I share this vision of unleashing untapped human potential at scale. That's what I see happening in Bhutan, and that's what you're already increasing standard of living. You're already increasing GDP. I think the next 10 years you could become one of 10 models for responsible growth and what I call good capitalism in the world. What do you say to that?
His Majesty the King has said that gross national happiness is more important than GDP.
Yes.
And that should summarize everything that you just mentioned. And gross national happiness emphasizes that the happiness and well-being of the people must occupy the center, front and center of the development agenda. And so we've made some successes. But we have to admit that we are in a world that obsesses with optimizing GDP growth, economic growth,
Yes.
and sometimes mindlessly.
Yes.
What is the objective of such fast-paced and enormous economic growth? You need to ask ourselves that question if we want governments to optimize their services. And so in Bhutan, His Majesty the King has now taken GNH, gross national happiness, to another level. He's established a special administrative region called the Gelephu Mindfulness City, GMC. So the GMC is a 2,600 square kilometer area located along a border with India. And this city has been established as a special administrative region, which means that it has its own government, own lawmaking process, own laws, own judiciary, own currency, own central bank.
Wow.
And it's like a mini state. In fact, it's bigger than some of the countries. It's 3 times the size of Singapore.
Wow.
The opportunity that His Majesty has provided is, how do you replicate gross national happiness, and how do you take GNH to the next level in a small country that has been newly created?
But this special region is bigger than Singapore. This is
3 times the size of Singapore. Yeah. It's already established, already has its laws, and remember, you have the opportunity of crafting your own laws. You don't have the legacy of existing laws in the country. It is really the creation of a special, not just a special administrative region, definitely not a special economic zone, but literally a separate country. It's one country, 2 systems. And the focus there is going to be on sustainability and mindfulness, spirituality, conservation, but also on business, the right type of business,
That's right.
capitalism, the right type of capitalism,
Yes.
finance, technology,
Yes.
clean energy.
Yes.
And we are very excited. John, you mentioned that there are a lot of investors out here looking to do good business.
Yes.
I invite them to visit us, have a visit to our country, see what we are doing with GMC, and that invitation starts with you, sir.
Oh, I plan on coming. You had me at hello. I was a new fan within 2 minutes of us meeting, and I don't think that people understand you can't just be looking at what's in the headlines right now. And as an entrepreneur, I can tell you this, you have to look at where the puck is going, as they would say in hockey. You've got to look around the corner because rainbows only follow storms. You cannot have a rainbow without a storm first. Every big business was once a small one. Every big country was once a small one. Every big economy was once a small one. And what I'm telling you is someone who has personally directed $5 billion of capital into underserved communities and pioneered areas of financial literacy in the biggest economy in the country and created policy there and gave respectability for a group of people in markets that were not respected. I believe, based on what I'm seeing and hearing from you, that under your leadership and the King's leadership, you have an opportunity to do both things at the same time. Enhance happiness and joy at a time where I think people are really lonely, they're depressed, they're looking for meaning in their lives, and technology increases will only amplify that. So this purpose and meaning, at the same time, wanting to do well and do good, wanting to participate in capitalism and free enterprise and opportunity. I think that those 2 things together make you potentially an unstoppable force in the space you have, the 3 times the size of Singapore. Singapore is a model that that Atlanta used. I mean, Atlanta's economy is the same size as Singapore today, 580 billion. Again, that's bigger than every state around, this little city, than every state around it. You could do much more than that because you are a sovereign nation. And I believe that increasingly the world's going and world leaders are going to hunger for sunshine after the rain.
Well, as an entrepreneur and as a successful entrepreneur, manifold, what I can say is come and visit us and see what we're doing, especially at the GMC, the Gelephu Mindfulness City. And you will see that the puck is going in the right direction.
Yes.
And as an entrepreneur, you will have a nose for early successes. I can tell you that you're going to identify this as an early success.
Well, you already have me. I'm coming. As we wrap up, is there a word that you have for the audience, or the delegates who are here and those who are watching online? Is there something you'd like to leave them with as a vision for your country, your king, and your people?
His Majesty the King is taking us on a remarkable journey. The road so far has been very successful. We have succeeded beyond our wildest dreams. As a country, as a society, in one generation, we are all educated, we are living longer, more comfortably. We have a unique culture that we identify with and we can celebrate. Our environment is still intact. We are a biodiversity hotspot. We are a carbon negative country. We have a vibrant democracy. So we are very, very fortunate. But we know that things are going to change and change fast. There are going to be rain. There are going to be storms ahead. And we've got to be prepared. And part of preparations, His Majesty the King has outlined and given us his royal vision of the Gelephu Mindfulness City. This is a unique opportunity for us, our future generations, but I do believe it is an opportunity for the world also. So if there is any message, well, I don't have a message, I have an invitation. Come and visit Bhutan and join us on this very, very important journey. You won't regret it.
I want to thank the United Arab Emirates, the World Government Summit, my friends here who lead this effort, for yourself having a vision for Dubai and for the nation that's not very dissimilar from what you've heard here from the Prime Minister. It's doing well and doing good. Doing well by doing good. Good capitalism in a stressed and strained world, a rainbow after the storm. Will you join me in saying thank you to a visionary leader for the future, the Prime Minister of Bhutan?
Thank you, boss.